Na tumeambia polisi mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to yet again another interesting episode from Tony's Pod. As always, it's always that one guy speaking alone, Anthony. Today is on the Sunday, 29th of June. The year is coming to an end. Baridi ya Nairobi inaendelea kututuanga. Nikachai tu na kamukate tunatuanga huku. Anyway, today I wanted us to discuss something critical. Not your usual video, but I would really like us to go into an in-depth analysis over the response that Kipchumba Murkomen had after it was said that he had actually given shoot to kill orders because they were orders from above. So he actually said that he didn't give that order. So it actually triggered me. Am I the mad one in this whole saga? Am I the one who is wrong altogether? Silikuwa tu ni jana. What changed? Sahi ameruka story kama kangaroo. I had to go back and listen. But beyond that, I really found it worth taking our time to watch this video and deconstruct it part by part, which is exactly what I'll do. So, we all know what he said about mtu akikaribia police station apigwe risasi. We all know that. We'll go back to it, but I want us to hear what he had to say in front of his boss as he was giving a feedback to his boss. Nataka tusikize venye alisema. We will start from the beginning.
And I'm saying this with all humility. I cannot order an Inspector General of Police on anything because the Constitution denies me to do so. And I did not order the Inspector General or any police officer to carry out any extrajudicial anywhere. Your Excellency, what I did was to state the law.
Okay. He did not order. Hapo ndipo nasemanga, yeah, this was me. This was me. You are asking how it got here, but this is me. Listen.
Si ukweli? Na tumeambia polisi mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
I think if we were to ask KJ Kerry, he would say that that was not Kipchumba Murkomen speaking. He is a graphic editor and he can know an AI-generated statement in front of people. See the number of people who are recording. Then, Murkomen is a lawyer, but listen to what watu kwa background wanasema. Ashikwe. Si uliwe, ashikwe. Listen to what people are saying. If you have something against me, come arrest me. You are the government. You have the monopoly of violence. What is wrong with you coming and arresting me? Why would you have to shoot me? Listen.
Lakini mtu mwenye anajaribu kuenda kuiba bunduki, ati anaenda kunyang'anya polisi bunduki.
Listen venye anaambiwa na wananchi. Huyo ni lawyer. Don't forget that Murkomen is a lawyer, but he's being taught the law by wananchi.
Ama mtu mwenye anatupiwa mawe polisi anataka kuua polisi, ati atakuja kupembelezwa. Unafikiria bunduki ni mandazi?
Lakini wananchi wa area hapa mwenye anakuja kuripoti, mwenye amekuja kukosea nini, mwenye amefanya nini, anaandikiwa, unapeleka kotini, hiyo anapelekwa kotini. Lakini mtu mwenye anakuja kuchukua bunduki,
Accelerometer itapanda to 150 kilometers per hour. We ameambiwa ashikwe. Those are wananchi trying to advise our very own Minister for Interior on what he should do. Common sense. Common sense. Meskia? Anyway, we were just trying to revisit on what he said. So let's get back to our video. So, Murkomen, as we let me try to do some little intro on what he's trying to say. Hiyo yenye niliongea jana, niliongea kama interior. But now, I want to explain as a lawyer. There's a part of Murkomen that is a lawyer that, see, wanatumanga wakipuliza, they gaslight us, so it's okay for us to kuuma tukipuliza pia. So one part I like about Murkomen, in as much as I see a lot of shortcomings in his leadership, is the fact that he knows how to state his points. And actually, akisema kale kagituka, the law is very clear. The law is very clear. You know, Bwana Jeff, actually when he used to go to the Citizen TV kwa Jeff Koinange, the law is very clear. So, he's back to the heart of the law is very clear. Let's see what he had to say, what he has to say about the law.
Extrajudicial anywhere. Your Excellency, what I did was to state the law. And as a lawyer, I have studied, read this law, and I understand what the law says. And what I told the police officers is, if you will not find me anywhere where I said somebody should be shot to be killed, you will not find me anywhere where I said that a police officer should take orders from myself. No. I restated the law and reminded them what the law says. And for the benefit of those, Your Excellency, who have been speaking out there, I want to read for them the National Police Service Act, Section 61(2), and Schedule, particularly Schedule 6B1. Your Excellency is very clear on the use of firearm. And I want to read it verbatim. It says, Your Excellency...
Okay. Before Bwana Lawyer asome notes, before Bwana Lawyer tusome notes, unaona hadi ilikuwa mtihani, alikuwa hadi na notes. So, before tusome notes, one, let us not forget where this whole story started. Because there's something we've been talking about called gaslighting. And I actually want to narrow down on gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the characteristics that narcissistic people exude. Narcissistic ni wale watu wa kuuma wakipuliza. People who show you, that kind of toxic love. There is a way that they have a way of controlling you. It's all about themselves. A way of creating a problem, making it look like you are the problem when you raise an issue about it. And then, when you're trying to find a solution or to try and say that, hey, you wronged me, they spin the narrative to make you look bad. And actually, if you're not careful, you might end up apologizing. You might think, hey, mtu nimemkosea vibaya sana. Yeye ndiye alikukosea lakini wewe ndiye unaenda kuapologize. Well, one of the characteristics of a narcissistic person ni kugaslight. Anakuja anafanya kitu mbaya, then what do? They spin it back to you. So we shall be looking at those characteristics. But first, let's listen to what the law has, what the law is very clear has to say about the law. Acha tusome notes.
It says, Your Excellency, that firearms may only be used when less extreme means are inadequate and for the following purposes. 1, saving or protecting the life of the officer or other persons. 2, in self-defense or in defense of other persons against the imminent threat of life or serious injury. C, protection of life and property through justifiable use of force. D, preventing a person charged with a felony from escaping lawful custody. 5, or E, preventing a person who attempts to rescue or rescue a person charged with felony from escaping lawful custody. Your Excellency, I'm not the one who wrote the law.
Okay. If it was a multiple choice question on the use of firearms, Bwana Mr. The law is very clear. Has told us that there are 5 conditions that the National Police Service Act address. Schedule 6, schedule what? I don't know, whatever the schedule. Yes, but I have it here with me. Nimeigulugulu mpaka nikaipata. I'll actually put it here. So, there are 5 options. As a teacher, I'm thinking, kuna kale ka option, this is up to option E. No, kulikuanga na zile maswali za primary or multiple choice questions where you are given a B, C, D, E. Let's add another one there, F, none of the above. Because if we were to ask, which of the following conditions would a policeman or the police use a firearm? Let me try to frame this question well. A policeman or woman may use a firearm under the following conditions. Which one is not, or whatever. Alafu kuna ile none of the above. So, amepewa the conditions that anafaa kutumia when saving or protecting the life, in self-defense, protecting the life and the property through use of justifiable force, preventing a person charged with felony from escaping lawful custody, blah, 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 or a rescuer. Now, of these 5 options, Bwana Waziri, under what condition was Boniface Kariuki Mwangi? Under what condition, under which of the choices would you have put Boniface Kariuki Mwangi's death under? Meaning ngeyeka kwa F. None of the above. None of the above. He didn't deserve to die. Have we seen reckless use of firearms? Yes. There was a guy who was working out. Ako kwa gym. Amegongwa na stray bullet. And you just want to make us believe that, oh, I'm sorry, it was just a stray bullet. Well, the law is very clear. Kuna pati zingine hajawasomea. Waliwasomea section 1. Section B1. Kuna 2, which says that an officer intending to use firearms shall identify themselves and give clear warning of their intention to use firearms with sufficient time for the warning to be observed, except when, where doing so would place the officer or other person at risk or death or serious harm, or B, it would be clearly inappropriate or pointless in the circumstances. Okay? 3, a police officer shall make every effort to avoid, underline, shall make every effort to avoid the use of firearms except against children. Remember baby Satrin Osinya? Remember the case? Aye. Part 4. Any use of firearm, even if there is no injury, shall be immediately reported to the officer's superior. Number 5. Any use of firearms that leads to death, serious injury, or other grave consequences shall be reported by the officer in charge or any other direct supervisor of the person who caused the death or injury to the Independent Police Oversight Authority, who shall investigate the case. Tusimamia hapo. How many cases were reported? Ni maafisa wangapi waliripoti kwamba kuna risasi ya gava imetumika in the previous maandamano? And then, let's not forget, who torched the police stations? Really, is it protesters? You want us to believe so? We are headed there. Bado hatujafika hapo. Remember we said that the characteristic is gaslighting. Doing something bad, then coming defending in yourself, showing that you guys, just because I did something bad, you've done something bad against us, so you are the bad persons. Actually, I think if you ask the government, they would tell you, if Albert Ojwang had not written that headline, we wouldn't be here. Ungekuwa si Albert Ojwang kuandika your headline, all this problem will not be here. It was all caused by Albert Ojwang. So Albert Ojwang should not have written that headline. But is that where this problem starts from? I believe this problem starts from each one of us. Mwenye huwa anapeana hongo. When askari anapitia hapo kwako kwa biashara yako, anaokota hongo and you are very comfortable funding that. The same evil money yenye gari unasimamishwa unapeana hongo. That 50 bob, that 10 bob, that 5 bob cost the life of a 31-year-old Kenyan, because people were ready to conceal the chain. And if someone went down, a lot of people would have gone down. However, because there's something to hide and something that they have to conceal, they need all arms of government on board. Back to Murkomen. Bado malizana na yeye. Let's listen to what he had to explain. He's not the one who wrote the law, blah, 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 blah.
Your Excellency, I'm not the one who wrote the law. The law says a police officer, when faced with a situation of a threat of his life, must be able to use the firearm. And particularly when sometimes police stations are banned, people think, it is police, forget about it. But when you go, if you go to Kikuyu now, where I went 2 days, we went with the IG and the PS and the team, we found that the entire Kikuyu law courts were banned. Everything, exhibits, people's title deeds that were deposited in the court, documents, of all kind, were raised down. And the court was completely banned, Your Excellency. And I don't know what the relationship between the court and the maandamano. So nobody is safe.
I don't know what is the relationship between the court and maandamano. Listen again to how he explains of the extent of damage that was done on the court. This is a very important factor because we are going to review it.
Sometimes police stations are banned. People think, it is police, forget about it. But when you go, if you go to
So, remember we are talking about narratives, spinning the narratives, gaslighting. So, it's not only the police that are affected, but the judiciary too. Kuuma ukipuliza. Sikia sasa.
Kikuyu now, where I went 2 days, we went with the IG and the PS and the team, we found that the entire Kikuyu law courts were banned. Everything, exhibits, people's title deeds that were deposited in the court, documents, of all kind, were raised down. And the court was completely banned, Your Excellency. And I don't know what the relationship between the court and the maandamano.
So sad, so sad. Title deeds zilichomwa, pieces of evidence, materials, nini. So sad, so sad. Bwana Murkomen does not really understand what is the nexus between judiciary and the executive. How are they to cooperate together? Because everyone is at risk. Listen to
the court and the maandamano. So nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. And we are requesting our judges, as they make the decisions they make. Unfortunately, we do not have the luxury, if the country bans, that they do have to sit down and make the decisions they make. If the country bans, nobody will be spared. Not a politician, not a cabinet secretary, not a judge, not a police officer. We need there is a feeling that
if our country bans, nobody will be spared, right? Not a politician, not a policeman, not a judge. Not a politician, not a policeman, not a judge. Wote. Mtego wa panya wanaambiwa utanasa waliokuwemo na wasiokuwemo. Well, here's the interesting part. I tend to think that the executive and the parliament are already in bed. Hilo ni jambo wazi kama meno ya ngiri. So, I mean, maybe the judiciary is the only one that is not cooperating. Because actually, after the inferno in Kikuyu, after the burning down, CJ Kome alienda huko kwa ground, and she actually assessed the damage in Kikuyu law courts, and she had this to say. Listen to her version.
The extent of this damage is not just an act of criminal elements, but an act of terrorism.
But if the attackers aimed to destroy records and hold justice, Kome says they failed.
We have our information in the court tracking system, our CTS, because we adopted technology. If they were destroying this place to destroy files and erase evidence, they did not succeed in doing that.
Okay. One good thing that Kome says is that vitu ziko kwa server. So if you try to burn the hard copies, we still have them on the cloud. That's a good thing. However, I want us to go fast forward, listen to what she had to say about the burning down and who did that. Is it the protesters really? Because according to Murkomen, these maandamano are going to be a problem for everyone. The policemen won't be spared. Politicians would be spared. The judiciary won't be spared. But does Kome think that protesters are the real issue? Let's hear what she had to say.
We are saddened as a judiciary, as a country, because we know nobody planned to leave their homes for peaceful demonstrations, to exercise their rights under Article 37, the right to assemble, the right to picket, the right to convey the petitions, and end up in the mortuary, or end up maimed, or end up with their property destroyed, or end up with an institution like this razed to the ground. So we recognize there is a gap in our law and in our practice, and we must address that gap so that this right to picket, to assemble, to demonstrate is not taken advantage of by criminal elements. It's not taken advantage of by terrorists who are now covering themselves up and using it to destroy property.
Okay, so at least we get to know that Mother Kome is not of the same ideology as of Murkomen and actually our president, because even our president was there saying that what we witnessed were not protests, they were, you know, the narrative. Kama haikukukumbusha that speech ya the evening of 25th, tulipoitwa mekora. I don't know what you remembered. It was just the same thing with just, I would say, a little bit nicer words, not nicer words, but if it was worst, if June last year was the worst speech ever given, then this was just worse or something. Just nile sumu ya kukuua, ni sumu bado, ni vile haitakuua immediately, itakuua after 3 days, but either way, it's poison, so the end justifies the means because it's poison anyway. So, at least we have some comfort in the fact that the executive and the majority of the parliament were still having a narrative that they've spent and believed in, that is not being followed, that maandamano are the issue. They've tried to change the narrative using the goons. It is not working. But at least we have someone who is on our side, who knows that it's not the protesters who are the issue. It's people who are taking advantage. The government should have intelligence of knowing who are those people who want to take advantage of the maandamano. Stop those people before the maandamano happens, and stop making it look like it's the maandamano that causes all these problems to happen. Anyway, at least we know the judiciary may be on our side, maybe, because not all of them, I mean, it's an institution, but at least there's that part of knowing that the script is not the same. And the aim of this game, remember we've been talking about gaslighting, spinning the narratives, and plot twist. Hapa tumepigiwa tu plot twist moja noma sana, so that we can forget about this whole issue and forget that it all started from a narrative, from a lie. It all started from Albert Ojwang, and then we were told that Waswahili walisema mugonga kichwa ukuta, na inasemanga je, mpiga ngumi ukuta umiza mkononi. Hii Albert ungekuwa ni methali, sijui wahenga wangeisema aje, mugonga kichwa ukuta ukufa fofofo, especially kama ni ukuta ya police station. So utubeba ufala. If people like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, ukipigwa ngumi ya kichwa unaenda knockout, you fall down, haujisikii, haujijui, sembuse ukuta. That's where it all started. But that's what they want us to forget, where the problem started and who created this problem. It is the police. The police that now are being told that you can shoot at free will. Well, didn't you learn that this time that people are no longer scared of being killed? So what next? If people are not scared of being killed, what will happen? Might we become a state like Colombia, where you'll be finding now that because people are no longer scared of being killed and it's a mafia state, goons are doing the extreme, police are doing the extreme. So utakuwa unapata tu watu wamehangiwa Thika Road, mtu amehangiwa hapo kwa flyover just to make a statement. Tutakuwa tunasurubishwa because kama humuogopi kukufa, mnadhani what will these people do? It will only get worse. And what they will be doing now is to not only kill you but try to make a statement with you. Iwe funzo kwako na kwa wengine walio na tabia kama zako. Kwanza by the si Albert lazima ilikuwa ikuwe funzo kwake na kwa wengine walio na tabia kama zake. When they'll decide that it's time to kill recklessly, we'll just be hanged. So if we don't speak now, if we don't try to show that we are cutting off the crap they are feeding us, then it will only get worse, and we don't want it to get there. I don't want to speak more, just want to stop at that. If you think that this episode sparked your thoughts, maybe it's a talk that you enjoyed. I know some of the talks that we are having recently are quite difficult, and they don't leave even myself feeling really, really nice about my country. I don't feel so proud talking about these things, but we have to. So if you feel that there's someone else who you might know who shares the same values, same thoughts, feel free to share with them this episode, and let's think about the narcissistic behaviors that our leaders are exhibiting while in the positions of power, and call them out for the crap that they are showing us. Till next time, I'm Anthony. Adios.